in September. And
Valley Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting. This board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record meetings provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the views of others. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the AVUHSD board shall do so in person, complete a speaker form, and give it to the designee before the public comment portion of the meeting. The speaker form must be given to Ms. Orozco before the board president announces the item. Once the item has been called, we will no longer accept new cards. Ms. Orozco will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. A total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a total allotment of 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, programs, services, acts, or omissions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Speakers are cautioned that no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Attendees are also reminded of the board's civility policy, Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining disruption-free board meetings. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds for the board president to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor.
Mrs. Corona.
Ms. Corona.
Miss
here.
Corona. Sorry. Mrs. McGrady.
Present.
Mr. Sanchez.
present.
Mrs. Wynn. And I'm here as well. Right, and Mr. Delgado is not here. All right. See, Mr. Sanchez. Will you lead us in the pledge?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right hand over your heart.
All right, Pinko meeting. Public comments from the floor for Pinko items. Are there any comments? Are there any comments from the public on Pinko items?
We don't have any comments for Pinko?
All right, thank you. We'll move to B, adoption of the 2023-2024 budget. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the 2023-2024 budget as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Ms. Nguyen?
Mr. Hawkins, how many people take a look at this budget before it goes to county?
Internally, we do, and then we'll send it to the county for their reference.
We means you and
The business office,
business office.
yes. So PINCO does it, then the business office reviews it.
Okay.
And then we'll send it to LACO for confirmation.
Thank you. That was all. Thank you.
Right, any other comments? All right, we have a motion duly seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Extension of contract for distribution services agreement, RFP number 12-20-21. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve PINCO granting an extension with Food Source Transportation for distribution services for the school year 2023-2024. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. The extension of PINCO agreement for SY 2023-2024 is recommended the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to award extensions to listed vendors and enter in agreements for the school year 2023 and 2024. May I have a motion?
Move. Second.
Second, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. E, approval, approvals of PINCO 2023-2024 request for proposals. It is recommended the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to enter into agreements with the recommended vendors and to open purchase orders for the payment accordingly for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Approval renewal of insurance policy with Philadelphia Insurance Company for SY 2023-2024. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the insurance policy with Philadelphia Insurance Company for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
I do have just one
Ms. Nguyen.
quick question. The name is not familiar since I've been back on the board. How long have we had Philadelphia?
About 10 years.
Oh, it
That-
should be
I mean, it's Philadelphia. We use the local insurance broker, Masari.
it should be familiar to me then.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
Masari is the local
Thank you.
insurance broker. Philadelphia Insurance is the primary carrier.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. That's an aye for me too, sorry. G, registered dietitian services for SY 2023-2024. It is recommended that Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to enter into an agreement with Lori Wallace, RD, for consultation services for the 2023-2024 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. H, approval of PINCO RFP number 6-23-24, purchase food products delivered direct to PINCO member sites. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to enter into an agreement with Cisco Food of Ventura as stated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. I, purchase order schedule, PINCO. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and authorize the purchase outline on the attached schedule. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Okay. 3, reconvene regular meeting. 4, recognition officer public comments. I'll start. Well, I'll do it. I really don't have much to report except for graduations went well. It was pretty amazing. listening to the, my fellow board of directors. They had a good time out there. I think Miss Wen, you attended 8.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I
so,
had I really enjoy it.
all right. So we'll move on to Antelope Valley School Transportation, AVSTA, Mr. Hawkins, President Hawkins, Chairman Hawkins.
Nothing new right now. Their next board meeting is on Wednesday.
Okay. We'll move on to C, Mr. Millings. I don't see him here. We'll move on to Miss White, CSEA. Welcome.
Did that work?
Can't hear you.
Oh, there. Is that it? You can check on me? You're too kind. Oh. So good morning, Board President, Mr. Hughes, board members, board cabinet, Mr. Nian, Mr. Willis, Ms. Orozco. Seems like I was just standing in this place yesterday. That's probably because my weekend went by so quickly, I guess. But just to repeat my comments from Friday concerning the adoption of the 2023-2024 budget, the LCAP for our district and the academies of the Antelope Valley. And before you hear any additional public comments, CSEA wishes to acknowledge and thank those who have been extremely meticulous in gathering the information and formulating this material to produce a confirmation that our district meets the LCAP requirements while presenting a very extensive and transparent document. Again, we know that this is a long and a very lengthy process, which does not occur overnight, and it doesn't assemble itself either. And we want to acknowledge the education and business services and all of these employees for their diligence and hard work concerning these reports. As I informed you on Friday, CSEA and the district have been engaged with great and very open conversations concerning reclassification applications. And as we entered into our negotiations during this process, both CSEA and the district reclassification teams agreed that the Secretary 2 duties, who were assigned to the assistant principals, had changed. They were not in alignment with today's expectations for this position, and a new job description was necessary. Today, you have before you in number 11 of your consent agenda for personnel services, item E, a new job description which addresses the changes and duties in these positions. And we hope that you will recognize this relevance as well. Once again, I thank you for attention in my comments and hope that you will enjoy your week. And since this will be my last opportunity, probably for this month, please let me take a moment to wish you gentlemen a very happy Father's Day for our future fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, godfathers, foster fathers, or any of those who take the place of a father. I hope you have a great Father's Day on Sunday, and I hope you're treated just like a king. I also hope you will enjoy our 3-day weekend as we celebrate the 3rd year of our Juneteenth remembrance. Have a beautiful and relaxing day. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public on agendized items?
Yes, we have one.
The public is invited to address the board on any agenda item. To address an item on the agenda, speaker forms must be given to the designee before the board chair announces the item. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotted to another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to concerns and issues. The board may ask for a purpose of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking action on items not on the agenda.
Vivian for 5A or 15A.
Welcome.
Ms. Ramos?
I'm
thank
sorry,
you to my three
Miss
new
Vivian,
people. Yes,
before you start, I'm sorry. Rachel, can you repeat what item?
She has 5A or 15A.
and that's because I
Oh.
wasn't sure if I can talk on, if we're not started on the
Okay.
close item or something like
Got
that.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome again to my three new board members on the board. Excuse me. Again, I didn't come Friday because I wasn't sure, really, I couldn't make it. But I'm looking at the agendas and I'm not always sure. Like I said, I come on my own here. I've been coming forever, trying to just find out how this here area of parents' involvements and kids' involvement. I'm looking at this here packet, is this local indicator and all this stuff. I was looking at the parent and family engagement outline and looking also at this here parent involvement on 5A, the educational services. Then I thought about the 15A where it was talking about the different employees or, you know, explosions and something like that when teachers do something wrong. I'm going to continue coming whether I know what I'm speaking about or not, because I know that you get the gist of it while I'm sitting here, because I am going to speak on civility and you know why. But I would say this as a parent. If this district doesn't help to do the things that they need to do with having parents be involved with every aspect of their children's education, it's not going to work, because we have so many people sitting on the board, not you all, former board members and different things that people are doing, that some of this paperwork, some of these screen shot, the things that they do when they're saying that they got all this stuff for the school, it doesn't represent this district. The things that they say that they have to help parents have come in here like myself to get attention or get help and different things. And guess what? It fell on dead ears. So I'm just knowing that right now with you three new people here, I'm hoping that some of the things that these other ones here that did not do their job under their other tyrant person that they had as a superintendent. And I say that not even lightly, because certain ones on this board has not, or even in the leadership, have not really done right by these kids. So what bothers me as a parent, me looking at anything that has to do with parents, is this district hasn't taken parents seriously at all. And the sad part about it is you're getting paid because of the parents' kids that work in this district. And you all that know what I'm saying, that has had issues with all parents or different people in this district, is because you failed to really want to do what you would do if it was your child. Some of you sitting on this board, as long as you know that you don't have children in this district, it's okay for you to do what you do in this district. And it's pitiful. And I'm going to keep on saying it because it is wrong. You got people on this board here that are not even listening to parents when they come into the district's room, or let's not even go with the coaches, principals that don't listen, teachers don't listen. And I'm going to say it to you again. I would never say all teachers are bad.
30 seconds.
This district is bad. None of that, because we got some great students in this district. We got great teachers, and we got some bad teachers, and we got some bad stuff in law enforcement, probation. We got them in council, city council. The bottom line is, I would like the same way that you three came into this district and got your recognition of coming in here. You look like you really wanted to help the students. And if they were your children, I believe that you will. And what I've seen so far, I'm proud to say I see you three up here doing what you're doing, whether you believe it or not. You guys, I need you to help make changes.
Thank you. I can guarantee you that we'll make some changes. And we do support the parents.
That's it for agendized items.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public for non-agendized items?
Yes, we have one.
Okay. The public is invited to address the board on any matter not on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the board. To address an item not on the agenda, speaker forms must be given to the designee before the board president announces this item. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and the total time for public input shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotted for another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to concerns or issues, and the board may ask questions for purpose of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking actions on items not on the agenda. First speaker, please.
Vivian on civility on 2 board members.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna try to be real quick before I start my time, but I'm gonna say this. I'm wondering why today Grady's not wearing her mask. You know, I was waiting to come to this meeting so bad to see her not wearing her mask this meeting. Maybe she didn't have it on Friday. But you want to know why I feel that way? It's because we had about 30 Black students sitting up here. First time I seen her put a mask on. I don't even care, even when it was COVID. And I'm happy to see the Wynn look so depressed, along with this here non-factor person of an AV press right here, sitting here, who only likes to represent the racism stuff that's in this district. Well, I'm going to tell you what I feel about. I told you once before, if you don't believe your pictures, yeah, you need to get up and walk away as you usually do. But let me tell you what I feel about you turning your back. You don't have any type of respect for the kids in this district, but you're getting paid, and your husband wants to get that paid as well, right, Wynn? But I'm gonna tell you what I feel like. I am so happy to say that isn't a great day in America that Trump, the white supremacist, your boss. See, you can smile with me, and I'm so happy you're smiling because guess what? You've been told already about what's up with you. You're a racist. So is your friend who's got her back turned. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Y'all don't deal with the district the right way. You too. You need to be fired just like Trump's behind. You need to be fired like other people in this district has. But the sad part about it is your attitude with the teachers out here and the parents, it's been disgusting. And you're acting like you're sitting here like you're so brave, but you're condescending to people on your own board. You treated Dr. Ruffin like a dog, and you know what? You laugh. You used to walk around here high and mighty, acting like you know you had under control, but you don't know more. But guess what I really like about everything that's going on? We got 3 new board members, and one thing about it, your little majority of your message you got, it ain't working for you no more, is it? And just the way you went to lunch with your doggone Susan, that one that was a racist for Mr. President Obama, you should feel real bad. I'm just gonna waste my time telling you how I feel about something. You're condescending. Our Black students don't have a chance because you got even principals formally like that one over there sitting here acting like they're so down for this district. Well, you know what? The people that does the work in this here town are the teachers. I don't really think you do a good job with the teachers, and you know you don't. That's why they don't have enough pay the right way to do what they got to do. You definitely don't do it for the people that work in this district that are getting money and getting decent money. But guess what? You got people getting positions that don't need positions in this district, making more money than teachers and not doing a damn thing. So I'm going to say this to you again. I find it very nice to know that Trump and the rest of these Trumplicans that are the dirty ones that are doing wrong. I mean, because you could be on whatever side you want. You should really get your act together. But you two fools, I already knew you weren't going to have your mask on. Why don't you got it on, Grady? You was too afraid that a Black person was going to be too close to you when they had the meeting. You could say you were sick. You could say whatever. Bull, you know what? But I'm going to say it like this. It's sickening to see you two sitting on this board the way you've done with this here help of this here fool here, this one here, sitting here as an AV press, because the powers that be, you know what's going on, and I do too. But guess what? I'm enjoying seeing what the news is. It's all about you two fools. You two. You new ones, help them out.
Thank you. You have the mic.
Hate speech is hate speech. It doesn't know race. It doesn't know skin color. And the fact that we sit here and take it, it's hate
Vivian,
speech.
hold on.
If you want to speak to me, you just say that you have to address anything that I was saying. She's supposed to address me. So why are you addressing only you all?
Actually, Vivian, she has a right to have
Oh,
a
she's
comment.
just making a comment. Okay, thank you, sir.
If she needed a clarification,
You know, they say no dialogue, but then she wants to pull it.
absolutely, you're right. We cannot have dialogue. So just for point and clarification, Ms. Nguyen was just making a statement and she has a right to do that. Go ahead, Ms. Nguyen. All right, Ms. Nguyen, are you done with your statement? All right, thank you. Okay. I think we're on 5. All right, educational service action items. Educational Service Annual Review of Board Policy Administrative Regulation BP/AR 620 Parent Involvement. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees review the attached BP/AR. Any discussion on that? Go ahead, Ms. Nguyen. No, I don't. All I need is it's just a discussion because we're just reviewing it for the first read, correct, Mr. Nehan? Yep, first read. If you have any discussion.
My question is, how do we notify the parents of these meetings? Like, what are the different ways? Who do I direct this to?
You can direct it to me. The board meeting is published on the website, and the board agenda, once released, is available through the website as well. So the year-long calendar is available to all parents and members of the community, as well as reviewing the agenda once it's released through the district website.
Do we have a system and process that we can like send out a text, I mean, to parents or maybe a voicemail or?
We do have both of those, the capacity for both.
Do we notify parents?
We do not notify parents of every board meeting other than through the website with the calendar and the published agendas.
I noticed on our last information that we got that sometimes there were 0 parents that were attending some of these meetings and that's sad. So I was hoping that there would be maybe improved ways or other ways that we could reach out to parents, short of knocking on their doors, I guess, but
We probably won't go that far, but we do need to try some additional strategies to engage parents in the LCAP process.
thank you.
So as Mrs. Nguyen was saying, I definitely had some thoughts about the survey numbers from last time where there were multiple zeros, and that to me just feels unacceptable for a district. Looking at the policy and the regulation, I just want to discuss that we certainly are going to have to put the parent involvement at a much higher priority. We have to. We just have to with those numbers. And then I'm hoping that with the new parent advisory committee that the board approved a couple months ago, that we can start integrating. And that was one of the questions I had brought up upon this review. So thinking about the district level parent advisory committee to our newer, or I guess revised parent advisory committee, starting to look real at the integration and how we can do better for parents, especially in our English language parents, with the language and trying to disseminate more information. So we're going to try new strategies, but we need to do the strategies, not just try, so that our numbers are not so embarrassing as I feel were for those surveys. Thank you.
All right. Ms. McGrady,
No comment.
Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, I just gotta kind of like go with you on that too, because we need to make some positive changes too, to encourage people to come. If there's no positive changes, how are they gonna be encouraged to come over here? So obviously there's a podium right here that they could be heard. So I am advertising on my social media out there, throwing it out there. Come to the board meetings, issues, comments, whatever you guys will have to say, and speak up, you know.
I've seen that today. I can't comment on it or like it, but the Brown Act won't allow me to comment or like, but in this forum, I can say outstanding, Mr. Sanchez, because you should continue that. And Ms. Corona, I believe that clearly with the new district parental advisory led by Mr. Chalet, we will actually get more involvement by different strategies. And I think, I know Mr. Nehan talked about maybe texting and stuff like that. So I think there's some other strategies out there that we can use. And since you get to really formulate that parental advisory committee with Mr. Chalet, I think it's going to be awesome. So I look forward to you guys reaching out a lot better than we are. So, all right. Any other discussion? Okay, no. Miss Vivian, we can't have, okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, B, Educational Services, adoption of the 2023-2024 Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the 2023-2024 LCAP for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, any discussion on this? We got a good presentation last Friday. Any, Ms. Nguyen?
I just wanted to thank you for putting this,
Is the mic on?
complicated document.
Your mic.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I just want to thank Dr. Grado and Dr. Laird for putting this complicated document into an easier to read format. Thank you.
Well, let's not forget an outstanding Dr. Sanchez out there as well.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
So, yes, with the LCAP, certainly it's exciting to read because our district is doing a lot of great work. In addition to, we need to do a lot of more great work. And this LCAP really shows all of that. I just was curious about, I'm not sure if this is if I can ask this question of the fall climate survey towards the LCAP. So this was from, I forget who gave us this last week, Dr. Laird.
Dr. Laird,
Dr.
Dr. Laird, if you want to come up and if she has a question, maybe you can
Yeah,
answer it.
sorry. Because reading it and, you know, we clearly just do so much great work. But there's also some numbers that are, for lack of a better word, concerning, right? So on the fall climate survey, for example, the number of responses that get you to this, is there a way that from this is the page I'm referring to?
Right.
Is there a way that we can just get the number of enrollment so that we can see the percentage? Because, for example, Antelope Valley High School, that's the first one on the list.
Right.
There's 500 students that did the fall climate. But I'm just curious, what is the total enrollment? So what is the percentage? I think, and again, I'm not even gonna pretend to remember the numbers of enrollment, but what is that percentage? And then how can we do more and more input? Because then if our numbers are so small with the enrollment and the survey, we're only capturing a very small percentage of maybe the whole school environment. And those voices matter just as much as the 500 that is on this list. So that's what I'm curious about, because you're bringing and extracting the info to create this plan. And I just want to make sure that as close to 100% as possible can be represented within this plan. So if later you can get me that, that'd be awesome.
You'd want the percentages for each of the schools
Yeah,
like broken down
yeah,
as far as
if-
what percentage those student
Yeah, if
responses
you could give
represent.
the number of
Sure.
enrollment of those students, and then
Absolutely.
also because of the LCAP, so the district office and Mr. Nehan, I'm hoping you can help a little bit, but only 10 employees did this survey, and I don't think you have 10 employees. So if there's a way you can incentivize people to do this survey, because I think it's just as important to hear what the district office has to say about the LCAP too. And of how many employees are that? And one parent, I mean, these numbers, again, I would just like to have a clearer picture of what this represents.
Well, and the one thing I would say to that is when you go into the survey, you have the opportunity to self-select whether or not you're
Oh.
a parent or a student or a staff member. And
Oh.
so we do have a lot of employees in the district office that are also parents. So they may have very well taken it as a parent because they have students in the schools. And so
perhaps you
it
could-
wouldn't necessarily represent as an employee, but they took it as a parent.
Right, so perhaps in the survey, you should consider maybe adding a double, you could choose two, just so that you get a better sense. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I definitely have a lot of other thoughts, but because we're moving into a strategic plan, I'm happy to see what we see, but we have a lot more work to do. And I just want to be very clear about that.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yep,
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. Yep.
Thank you.
Ms. McGrady. Do you have any? Sanchez?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I just want to say, great job, implementing the MTSS, process and that piece in it. This year, huge strides were made in that. And I just want to say thank you. I think that's really going to help this district out as we get that MTSS rolling. And I know we hired a director. I think that's a great thing this board's done, with direction from the superintendent and his cabinet. So I think collaboratively together, getting that MTSS rolling is really going to fix a lot of our problems. So good job on that. So, all right. So I have a motion, a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed, say nay. I said aye. Nay, seeing none, so moved. I screwed that one all up. All right, C, Educational Service Adoption of the 2023-2024 Local Accountability Plan, LCAP for the Academies of the Antelope Valley. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the 2023-2024 LCAP for the AAV. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Ms. Wynn, anything?
I
Go
just
ahead.
had a question, if we were able to find out the answer about adding goal 5 to the AAV, or if we decided to just let that be for now until we,
We were not able to add it to this LCAP without engaging in the entire 3-month-long process.
okay, so maybe for next time, we'll consider
But
it.
you're gonna have
Potentially,
some
yes.
discussion with our
Later.
LACO.
Yeah, and that was the response from our LACO counterpart.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Right. Any other discussion? I got a motion, got a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Right, good job, guys. All right. The Educational Services Desert Stand Public Charter High School Annual Written Report. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees receive the annual written charter school report. This is for discussion only. First read. Go ahead.
I just have one question. So who comprises the Antelope Valley Union High School District Charter Review Team? I was just curious, is that district office? Is it teachers?
Yeah,
District grade,
it's mainly
Dr. Grade.
district office. We have representatives from all 4 divisions that from business services, student services, personnel,
Okay.
as well as ed services. So we have quite a pretty big team, and everybody within their expertise oversees all of the process.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
Okay, no, sorry.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez?
No.
Ms. McGrady, no? Okay, we'll move on. E. Educational Services. Present local indicator data to the California School Dashboard for Antelope Valley Union High School District. Mr. Grado. Dr. Grado.
Thank you. Yeah, once again, calling Dr. Laird up to quickly go over the local indicators for our district.
Mr. Laird.
Thank you, and you'll forgive me for a moment of deja vu. Real quick, just a quick explanation as to what the local indicators are. As you guys know, we have a California dashboard with both state and local indicators. The state indicators are focused primarily on student outcomes, but we also have 5 local indicators. And so as part of our annual measurement of progress, we're required to present to the board where we fell on those local indicators. These are determined primarily through self-reflection tools. So different types of surveys that we give throughout the year. And there's really only 2 statuses. It's either standard met or standard not met. So before I get into this, just want to make sure you guys are aware that we did meet the standard in all 5 of the local indicators for both the Antelope Valley High School District as well as AAV. And there is a lot of data in here. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask. But my intent is to kind of go through it a little bit quickly, just so we don't get bogged down in the details. But obviously, if there's any specific questions you have, you are more than welcome. So looking at the timeline, this is kind of just a summary. Most of this work is done in the spring. Again, these are self-reflection tools, which the LEA is asked to do to collect that data on their own. And so we do that throughout the spring and then report it to you. When you look at the state LCAP priorities, again, this just kind of summarizes, it's a graph to kind of give you an idea of where that falls. We have the statewide reported data, which is priority 4, 8, and 5. 9 and 10 refer to the county only, and then priorities 1, 2, 7, 3, and 6 are the 5 local indicators. And so that's what this information that I'm about to kind of show you guys represents. So for priority 1, has to do with basic services, is kind of how we summarize that. And so we look at teacher assignments, we look at our instructional materials, and then we look at our facilities. We do have a Williams inspection each year. They look at our textbooks and our facilities, and we did pass both of those. And then in terms of missed assignments, we did have 12 missed assignments throughout the year, or 5 total teacher missed assignments and 12 specifically in the area of EL. And then 25 teacher vacancies. And again, this is data that we report to the state each year.
Can
And
you
then
go back
moving,
real quick,
oh yeah,
when you say 12 misassignments of teachers of English learners, can you explain that?
yeah. So the teachers have to have a specific credential status in order to teach and students with ELs in their classroom. And so if a teacher doesn't have that certification, then it would count as a misassignment. And so it has to do with their credential status. And so as we're trying to fill vacancies, sometimes we don't have, or we're not able to hire the teachers that we would like to hire. And so somebody still has to teach that class. So if they don't happen to have the right credential status, it counts against us as a misassignment.
Okay, and we're still looking at 25 teacher vacancies. Is this accurate
That was for
data?
this year.
Okay,
Yeah, that was for the current. year.
and we did some hiring, Ms. Rose?
We've done significant hiring and are continuing to recruit throughout the summer.
All right, thank you. All right, go ahead.
Priority 2 has to do with basically measuring the implementation of the state academic standards. And then I also included on here the reflection tool rating scale. So everything basically falls between a 1 and a 5, everything from exploration and research phase all the way to full implementation and sustainability. Again, just for your awareness, we were in the initial and full implementation on every standard based on the feedback that we got from our educational partners.
I have a question about what would mean for sustainability? What does that mean? Number 5, what would equate sustainability?
That's a great question. It's kind of a subjective thing because this is a self-reflection tool. And so this comes directly from CDE and the State Board of Education. And so the wording and the definition of this self-reflection tool is defined by them. And so it really comes down to perception. So if as an employee or as a parent or as a student, you're taking the survey, you're looking at it, what do you think sustainability means? And generally speaking, it would be that it's so well implemented that it's something that just becomes automatic. We do it almost without thinking. It's just so much a part of and ingrained in what we do that it just basically almost like has a life of its own. That's kind of how I interpret it.
Yeah,
But there's a perception piece to that, however.
thank you.
And so I'll go again, kind of quickly through these, but again, if at any point you have a question, please feel free to stop me. So within the area of implementation of academic standards, the first area is professional development. And you can see that we were at full implementation for each of the major content areas. Next is our instructional materials. Again, full implementation for each of our content areas, major content areas. Then we have policy, program, and support. And again, full implementation in each of the content areas. And again, these are all standards met. And then moving on to some of the career technical education, PE, world language, visual performing arts, and then health, we also have full implementation. And then the last area is engagement of school leadership, and that was an initial implementation, but again, standard met. And then we move on to priority 3, parent and family engagement. So this measures primarily how we receive parent input and decision-making, and then how we promote parental participation in educational programs and students. And for the parent and family engagement, there's basically 12 areas that ask questions or ask us to be rated, the educational partners to rate us in areas everywhere from capacity of staff to build trust and respectful relationships, creating welcoming environments, supporting staff to learn about each family's strengths, cultures, languages, and goals for their children. So you can see there's a lot of different areas that are specifically being addressed, a lot of specific questions that are asked, and we were initial to full implementation in each of these areas. And so I'll just kind of go somewhat quickly through these unless you have questions on any one of them in particular. These are the next 4 general areas of parent and family engagement that were addressed. And then the last 4, 9 through 12, again, everything from communication to opportunities for feedback to advocacy, a lot of different general areas. And then we get to priority 6, which is school climate. And as was alluded to in the presentation on Friday, and then also was already asked about today, this is primarily through our fall climate survey and through our LCAP winter survey. And so this basically has to do with the school environment as a whole. And so I provided a lot of graphs for you, and I won't go through each one of those graphs individually, but I did want to point out a couple of general themes. So you'll notice as you get into the pages with the graphs on them, the individual bar graphs. First, I wanted you to notice that there were 4 years that were compared. So it goes from 2019 to 2022. So you can kind of see how we have been doing from before COVID to during COVID to now after COVID. So you can see that the fluctuation in and where we fell percentage wise is covering that entire time span. And then there are general areas. So culture and climate, relationship, and we'll go through the rest. The other thing I wanted you to notice is that there are three main groups of educational partners that are being asked to give feedback. So we ask students, parents, and employees. And so again, as you take the survey, you identify which group you fall into. And so then the questions are worded a little bit differently based on how you identify yourself. So if you're a student, the question is, are you proud of your school? As a parent, I am proud of my student's school. And then as an employee, I am proud to work at my school. So each of those questions are going to be worded a little bit differently to get the responses that we're looking for, depending on what group that educational partner falls into. So for culture and climate, relationship has to do with just, again, the relationships between students, teachers, students, employees, and so forth. Then we have overall school safety, intervention support, the amount of intervention that we provide, and the perception that students, parents, and employees have that intervention is working and available. Then there are questions about the facilities. There are also questions about opportunities and access to things like technology and other academic resources. And then there are questions regarding communication and the open lines of communication based on how well we're communicating with the families and the students. And then there's also questions regarding participation and the opportunities to participate within the school and the school programs. And then there's questions regarding expectations and whether or not we're communicating that we have high expectations for students. And then connections as another piece, how connected to parents and students feel to their individual schools. And so again, lots of data there, lots of bar graphs. If you guys have any questions, I can try to answer those for you. This is just kind of a summary slide that kind of gives you the highlights of where we fell on a lot of those primary areas, from school pride to caring relationships to students feeling safe, technology, communication, so on and so forth. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I love the positives, but we always have to also look at the other side.
Yep.
So a couple of places where I just went, interesting, is on the culture climate graphs. Just I was focusing, of course, on the green and the blue, but the yellow and the red.
Yes.
So how many people took this survey?
That should be in the information that that you were given on the total number of participants in the survey.
Oh, that's okay.
Correct.
I had that, then I know that, and you'll break it down by the enrollment.
Yes,
So
I'll get back to you on the percentages.
I think we really need to look at the red and the gold of I am proud of my school. I mean, 15% disagree with that. And that's too many, in my opinion. The other ones that called out were in safety. I feel safe at my school, 27% in total. That's a quarter of who took this of students don't feel safe at school. So I would love to see the comments that went with those answers. And we're going to be addressing safety as a thing, but I mean, that's a significant number in my opinion. And then also the parents are at, my eyes are so 6, I can't tell the numbers, but it's over 20% that the parents don't feel that their students safe at school. So really looking at that and what are we doing to maybe change that scale a little bit.
Right.
And then the one that really got me was the facility one. The students saying my school is clean and well maintained. Over 40% disagree with that.
Yeah.
And so I would love, Mr. Nahan, if we could find which schools those answers came from to see what that means, because we have a beautiful,
Our employees feel pretty highly, 26%.
yeah, I mean, all of this, and I mean, this building is beautiful, but by no means do our students have this at their all. I mean, maybe some schools do, but not all.
Right.
So I would just be curious, what do they think is clean and what do they think is well maintained? Is it like no toilet paper, no soap? Or is it, you know, the
Yeah.
doors on the restrooms don't lock? Like, what's the gauge there?
I can tell you anecdotally, over the years, a lot of that has surrounded bathroom issues. So, you know, if students go in and it's not as clean as they would like it to be, or if the doors don't close, then it does impact the way that they respond. But that has been historically, when you look at the comments, a lot of it centers around the state of the bathrooms.
I
And
see.
so that is an
But
ongoing
great that
issue.
you've got a new board, because it's not okay, the doors of bathrooms do not lock, or there's no toilet paper and things like that. So we really, I think, Mr. President, we need to address this in a sense.
And I
of
think we have to really
urgency.
look at, I don't think we've had a bond for our school since 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't recall the last year, but it's somewhere around.
Miss Wynn, probably 2002. So we haven't had any really money put into our schools for our maintenance and stuff, except for the normal annual budget stuff. So that's something we were definitely looking at, I can tell you, Ms. Corona, probably
Um,
about 2024. So,
great. And then the other one was participation,
Yes,
the, and if, I'm just looking at the 2022 year.
Sure.
Sorry,
sure.
I didn't clear that. The students disagree, so almost 40% don't participate in an activity, club, program, or sport. And what I would want to know is why. I mean, we have a plethora of great activities, great, you know, urban scholars that Chandelin was just telling me more about, and just all the things that we get presented on. So how can we engage those almost 40% of students? So again, looking at this data, if you haven't noticed, I'm a data-driven individual. And then also with the connections, being connected to the school, 41% don't feel connected. So as a instructor, teacher myself, I know how important it is to engage and connect with your students and having that. So let's make these graphs shift over the next time, at least while I'm here.
I agree. And we have obviously looked at this data a lot ourselves. We do give this data to our sites individually so that they can see it, just their site data, see how they compare to other sites, and to see, you know, which of those areas are of most concern at their individual sites. So they get the district data, but they also get their site data. And a lot of times the connectedness piece does correlate with that participation piece. So obviously the more engaged or involved you are in your school, the more connected you're going to feel. And so
Yeah.
those numbers do tend to consistently kind of run together
Yeah.
because they kind of go hand in hand.
Right. And then also just a comment, I do think it's important for us as a board to look at the details. So I'm going to continue to
Okay,
say the talk and look at those details.
absolutely.
Thank you for your
Yep.
answers. Appreciate it.
right, we will move on.
No, I think he's still going. 'cause
Are you
that-
still
Oh,
going?
yeah,
Okay.
I am sorry.
that
I
was-
thought you were done.
Like I said,
Sorry.
there's a lot of data here. I apologize.
We're getting ready to do this again for our
I
next.
know,
one.
for the
I'm sorry.
AAB. So what I did on this slide was just kind of give you our overall summary based on looking at the data ourselves and then how we're using that data. And then we get to priority 7, access to a broad course of study. And this, again, looks specifically at whether or not students have access to, are enrolled in, or a broad course of study, including programs and services. So the way that we primarily meet this is through the building of our master schedules, and then also through our counseling departments to ensure that students are being encouraged to enroll in the correct classes, and that they have options and they have the classes that they're able to sign up for and be in. And again, standard was met on all of these. And again, if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to ask them. And that is the end of the Antelope Valley Union High School District version of the local indicators.
Any other comment from the board on this item? No, all right, we will move into F, Education Services, present local indicator data to the California School Dashboard for AAB. Mr. Grado, Dr. Laird.
And I will try to abbreviate this one. Much of the data is very much the same. We do, when, you know, the AAV as a dependent charter, we do provide the same surveys. We go through the same process. We do disaggregate some of the information on the survey section. So with your permission, I might just skip forward to that section if you guys are okay with that.
Yes, sir.
So again, same basic services, same priorities. You'll notice that the numbers on the basic services are much smaller because we're only looking at the AAV numbers. And so we only had one total misassignment. And again, they passed Williams with flying colors. And so going to the implementation of academic standards, everything was full implementation. So very positive in that regard. In terms of parent-family engagement, again, full implementation in the 12 areas that we looked at. And then moving into the school climate, again, like I said, if you looked at these bar graphs, you will notice they look a little bit differently because we did pull those numbers out so that we could look specifically at the AAV numbers. So we are talking about a much smaller number of total students. And you can see the differences in some of those bar graphs based on the kind of the concentrated look at those numbers. To see the difference between once we pull that out. Although interestingly, when you look at participation and connectedness, again, you see kind of that same correlation based on the level to which the students have decided or chosen to participate in after school activities, whether it be athletics or other clubs or programs or things like that. And then we go through the same process of analyzing that data. And then again, access to a broad course of study, standards were met in all areas. And again, through our master schedule and our counseling services, we do try to make sure that our students all have access to a full and broad course of study. Any questions on the AAV local indicators?
Personnel services, action items, approval of provisional internship permit, PIP. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources to submit a provisional internship permit allowing this individual to teach in the subject area indicated. How many are we dealing with?
There's 3
Okay.
provisionals, and then there's 2 short-term. or
Do
the
I
other
need
way
to
around?
do a motion on each
Yes,
provisional?
yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, we can lump the provisionals together and then the short terms together.
So let's
So
do
they'd be
that.
A and B together.
Okay,
if the
so we'll
board-
do that.
board
We'll
might-
lump all 3 on the A. May I have a motion? Oh, it is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the director, the Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources to submit a provisional intern permit allowing these individuals to teach in the subject areas indicated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved.
And then you'll be doing C, D, and E together.
Say it one more time.
You'll be doing C, D, and E together. That was for A and B, and then C, D, and E.
Okay, so C, D, and E together. All right, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources to submit a short-term staff permit allowing these individuals to teach in the subject areas indicated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. I'm sorry, discussion. I'll back up. Discussion.
You're right. What is an extensive support position? Extensive support. I noticed all of these are extensive support needs instead of specific areas of study.
So those are the authorizing credential for the mild to moderate, previously indicated
Oh.
as mild to moderate. So SDC or RSP teachers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Right, so in CD and E are together. Any other discussion on that?
No.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Moving to F. And there's only one here, right, Mr. Nehan?
Correct.
It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources to submit a variable term waiver allowing this individual to teach in the subject area indicated. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. 7, business services action item, adopt the 2023-2024 budget. It is recommended the Board of Trustees adopt the 2023-2024 budget as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, discussion. Lots of money over. Go ahead. Anything? Go ahead, Ms. Corona.
No, I just wanted to say Friday's meeting was very helpful. Thank you. So I believe all of my questions and comments were answered on Friday. So thank you.
Ms. McGrady, good to go. Mr. Sanchez,
No.
Ms. Nguyen.
No, thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Could be adopt resolution number 2023 or 2022-23-32, temporary loan transfer between district funds fiscal year 2023-2024. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2022-23-32, authorizing temporary loan transfer between district funds for the fiscal year 2023-2024. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Okay. Well, Mr. Hawkins, can you kind of explain what we're doing here?
This is, should we need cash flow, if they do deferrals, we can loan money from different funds. And they're short-term in nature. Most of them clear that fiscal year or by August or no, September of the following year. This is if we need to.
Perfect. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Adopt resolution number 2022-23-33, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Antelope Valley Union High School District regarding committed fund balance. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt a resolution to commit funds for the prescribed purposes. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Okay, see it. Go ahead.
I just had a question for the bottom where there's the chart and the textbook adoptions. So can you explain a little bit about the textbook adoption for this, in this case?
In this case, we have, is it history or social science coming up? Social science textbooks coming up in the next couple of years. So we commit some funds now to pay for it then.
Okay, but it's for just social sciences for 9 through 12, or
Ye-
is it just certain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
these,
The whole for also.
Right, for all grades. And so when we make textbook purchases, they're in the millions.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
So we need to have some reserves for that.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Adopt resolution number 2022-23-34, approval of the Education Protection Account, EPA spending determination for fiscal year 2023-2024. It is recommended the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2022-23-34 regarding the Education Protection Act, EPA spending determination for the fiscal year 2023-2024. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Seeing none, all those favors say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. E, adopt resolution number 2022-23-35, inter-fund transfer of funds fiscal year 2023-2024. It is recommended the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2022-23-35, authorizing the inter-fund transfer of funds for the fiscal year 2023-2024 as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Right. Approval of year-end appropriation transfers. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the year-end appropriation transfers as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. G, AVHS, HHS, and PHS modular restroom repair. We're gonna repair some restrooms.
Good.
It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal for Stevens Construction and authorize Brian Hawkins as authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
Just a comment, maybe this will help our graphs.
Exactly.
I hope it does. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Palmdale Adult Ed Old ROP and Desert Pathways phone system replacement. It is recommended that Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal from Uplink Communication Technologies and authorize Brian Hawkins as the authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All right, all those. Let's-
I actually was really curious about this, when I saw on the invoice here, the music on hold. Do you choose the music that they use on hold? Because I always have been curious about who chooses that music when
Mr.
you're,
Hawkins.
do you choose the music?
And I picked the worst possible music you can imagine. No, it's, they have a couple of, I believe they have a couple of different, like soundtracks,
Oh, okay.
that are pre-programmed. in.
Right. Okay, I was just
All right, that's a front page article tomorrow already.
fulfilled my curiosity. Thank you so much.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Always in the details. Okay, asphalt crack fill for KHS and Phoenix North and LHS. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal from Stevens Construction and authorize Brian Hawkins as the authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. Can I have a motion?
so moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Okay, yeah. 8, approval consent agenda.
Excuse me, can I make a quick
Yes,
amendment to
absolutely,
that?
sir.
I believe we put a typo in there. It's from not Stevens Construction, but it's A&M Construction.
Okay.
So if we could,
I'll go back and redo I.
if you
okay.
could, please, I apologize.
It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal from
N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, Construction.
right and authorize Brian Hawkins as the authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. All right, Stevens Constructions, you did not get the contract. Approval consent agenda. Approved items listed in the following consent agenda categories: educational services, student services, personnel services, business services, and administrative services. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are items consistent with the adopted policies and approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The board will be asked to approve all of the items in the consent agenda by a single vote unless any member of the board asks that any item be removed from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the items listed in the following consent agenda categories: education services, student services, personal services, business services, and administrative services as presented. May I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, anybody wants to pull anything?
I
Yep.
have just two, actually both for discussion, not for vote. And the first one would be item 9B. And then the second one is 12A.
Ken J,
Discussion.
discussion. And that was it. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start with 9B on our discussion, Miss Wynn.
In reading them, the manual, there's so much information and my question is, do parents get a copy, not of the whole manual? I don't know that it would interest them, but pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 21, 22, 24 were really, I think, information that parents should have. Do they have access to this or?
Can't speak to specific page numbers, but the pertinent information with regards to A through G,
A through D,
credits,
credits,
fails, those are all part of our annual notifications. They're given to parents in parent workshops as well as doing meetings with counselors. So that information is provided, but not in whole as you enumerated the page numbers.
This year I got more questions from parents about their student got an F and they're not going to be a valedictorian. And I got these questions the last week before school. So I was just curious how accessible this is to people, and in the future, maybe I can say, hey, go and look online or on our website. So you say it is on our
But
website?
this document, if approved by the board today, will be effective July 1st, and will be placed on
On our
the
website.
district website as well. It's in the introduction area.
Good, thank you.
We'll go to 10J. We'll go to 10J, Ms. Crowe.
Oh. Yeah, I just wanted to, I was just very curious about the Social Justice Learning Institute Urban Scholars Program. So I think it would be good for the board to hear about the program. So I spoke with Chandelin and Mr. Nehan if we can do a presentation on that because the contract doesn't talk about the specific curriculum, how many students it serves, that sort of thing. So that's the sort of presentation I'm looking for. Thank you. That was it.
Okay, 12A, Ms. Nguyen.
Oh, 12A is donations. There's a long list of donations this time, and I wanted to make sure, and I know that we do send out a thank you and a certificate, and make sure that all of these wonderful, generous people understand how much we appreciate their donation. Thank you.
All right. All right, any other discussion on any other item on the consent? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and vote on the whole package. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. We're on 13, right?
Item 14, Mr. President.
We got that done. Okay, 14. All right, sir, from the board and superintendent, we'll start with you, Mr. Nehan.
Just want to say thank you to all staff who worked tirelessly on the weekends to complete both the budget and the LCAP. Very, very good work, and thank you. And to all of the staff and students that are enjoying summer vacation, enjoy it. It's going to go quick.
All right, we'll go to Ms. McGrady.
Thank you. No comment today.
All right, Ms. Nguyen.
I too want to thank people. This was probably the largest agenda that I've ever seen in my entire life. So thank you, because I know a lot of work went into preparing it, and the presentations were very well. Thank you, Dr. Laird and Mr. Hawkins. I appreciate all the work that you've put into it, and I hope that you have a nice summer. Everyone certainly deserves to have a good break. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. Same thing, piggyback of Greg and our staff that's here. Thank you, everybody, for all the hard work. Thank you.
Ms. Corona.
Again, echoing what my fellow board members are saying, thank you to all of the staff and the administration and the students and everyone here. And I look at the calendar and I see that, you know, my position has been here for 6 months. So I just want to say, as a board member, a new 6-month board member, I'm thoroughly enjoying and feel like this is such a privilege to sit here. And I hope that moving forward, I'll continue to do the great work for the students and the families. And with all of your support, just keep doing the work. And I will continue to look at the details, as that is just me, who I am in life. So
All right.
thank you. Have a great summer.
And you're doing a great job. All you guys are. All right, I'd just like to say thank you as well. I know this budget, or the budget, the LCAP, this is the culmination of a lot of work. You guys put a lot of work into it. We're still trying to digest most of it. I think we get it. But there's a lot more for us as new board members to understand. All I can say is I'm really excited for this new school year coming in. Once again, I'm going to say I'm really excited about our strategic plan, how we implement that, put that up on this wall. We get Mr. Hawkins to fund it, and we make this district the best district. And these numbers, I really want to see these graphs get into the better categories, because that's why we're here. We need to better math scores, better grades, better test scores. And I think there's a lot of people committed to that. I know this board is committed to that, and we're going to do that. So thank you very much and appreciate it. And we will go into closed session now and then report back after we're done.
Meeting. This board meeting is being
And, come back in from closed session. Item 15D, may I please have a motion to approve administrator hearing panel recommendations for student expulsions and to order as presented the expulsion of 4 students. Motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Item 15E, during closed session, the board considered a request to waive healthful living for request to waive healthful living for an AVUHSD student, HW 2023-24-001. By a vote of 5-0, the board took action to approve the request. Item 15F, during closed session, the board considered resolution agreement STS 23-116, OCR case number 09-22-1563. By a vote of 5-0, the board took action to approve the resolution agreement. Item 15G, during closed session, the board considered settlement agreement STS 23-117, OAH case number 2023050566. By a vote of 5-0, the board took action to approve the settlement agreement. I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say
Aye.
nay. Seeing none, so moved. Right.